My name is Gail Theriot, and I'm with the George Wiley Center. I have 5 brief points. I don't want to take up too much time. First point was that in September you granted a 19% rate increase in National Grid. It applied for 53%. And the upshot of that is I use usually no more than about 400 kilowatt hours a month, and I was paying $75 a month. And once we got the rate increase, my bill went to $95. It's $20 a month. I'm 70 years old and I'm on Social Security. And when you get to Social Security, if you don't have a lot of money tucked away, you're going to find out how difficult it is to get by. Oh, yes. See, I live in Pawtucket, and I used to live in Pasco. And I was going to ask a question, but Madam Chair, you said no questions, okay? So I'm going to make a brief statement here. The Pawtucket Utility District applied for a rate increase in December. I don't know if it has arrived at your desks yet. And the increase was absolutely stunning. 1.8%. That'll be the first increase in about 2 years. And I don't think you're going to have anybody down here opposing that rate increase. So that brings me to another question. If Pasco can get by on 1.8% and Grid was granted 19% in September, either they are 20th century robber barons or totally inept at running the country. Or the company, not their country. Well, they do run the country anyway. Okay, 30 years ago, I was with the Coalition for Consumer Justice, and it was about this time of year. It was early 1988. And we asked the PUC to have hearings on a telephone issue we were working on, and Lila Sappinsley, the former senator, was the chairperson at that time. And they granted us hearings. And we had a hearing down on Aquidneck Island. We had one in Westerly. The first one was in North Kingstown, where our telephone campaign was born. God bless Bill Flynn for that. And we had one hearing, I believe, was in room 313 at the State House. We had one at the Woonsocket City Council chambers in Woonsocket, which is northern Rhode Island, and we also had one in Burrillville, which is northern Rhode Island. We don't consider, I live in Pawtucket, we don't consider Pawtucket northern Rhode Island. We feel like up there, you people in Providence look at us like we got the plague. Okay? And I would like to see hearings around the state. And all you got them is Providence, Pawtucket, Warwick, 2 in South County, 1 in Richmond and 1 in Narragansett. Aquidneck Island, totally abandoned. Let me move on to my next point. Oh yes. Several years ago, a law was enacted that required the Public Utilities Commission to have 5 members. And I can't ask you a question, but I'm wondering why this law has been neglected, and why don't we have, rhetorical question, why don't we have 5 that the law says we have to have 5 commissioners? You can ask your bosses that.
That doesn't have anything to do with the rate case. We could answer it if I had to.
Okay.
But I don't. But I believe that it has been changed. They never funded the other positions. Decided they didn't.
Well, it's about time. It's about time. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to blast through this here. All right. Oh yes. I was at a meeting a couple of weeks ago in Woonsocket that was hosted by Senator Whitehouse. And one of the people at the meeting asked the question, well, they wanted him to stand up against the power plant project, and, well, like politicians normally do, he just danced around it, and he said, well, there's a state agency that's taking care of that. Someone else in the room made a comment which really stunned me. I didn't expect it at all. They're corrupt. That was the comment. And I think that that's the way these agencies are perceived, as nothing more than a rubber stamp for these corporations that don't care one iota about us. In my mind, it raises the question, who is going to protect us from these predators? And I want to thank you, Madam Chair, and board members for your time.